So here we are with HDR gaming on the Samsung Frame 2021, and I gotta say, it's pretty impressive. The HGIG looks pretty decent, it looks really good, but the thing that I like a lot about this TV, highlights really do map pretty darn well. I haven't had a situation where the highlights look pretty terrible or anything like that, and in fact, quite the opposite. I've been rather impressed by what I've seen coming out of this Samsung TV. Now, I mean, maybe I'm just crazy, but I'm actually more impressed by this TV than I was with the Samsung QN90A. The reason being is because it doesn't try to overdo any one aspect of its picture quality. Now, yes, the black levels are nowhere near as strong, if you can call the black levels of the QN90A strong, but they're also stronger in other areas. So what I mean by that is, from what I've seen so far, the black levels on this TV, they can get grayish because it's edge-lit, obviously, but because it doesn't have local dimming acting as a band-aid over already crap native contrast, you don't have any of the crappy blooming or high bright spots. It's just you have a grayish screen sometimes to deal with, but that's really easy with some backlight adjustments and some contrast adjustments and things like that to really get that stuff mitigated. And I've gotten it to a point where, as you guys can clearly see, the blacks are inky when you're looking at normal full screen content like this scene right here and Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade for the PS5. And I gotta say, man, I'm impressed. Like, the clarity really has me impressed, because that's something that not even the QN90A did for me. And like, looking at this is so very clear. It's like really like crystal clear. And I think that's so impressive for an edge-lit of all things to get this level of clarity while being super thin. I don't know, man. I'm impressed by this. I am. I think there's an argument for this TV, especially for this price point. Now, again, you have to be comfortable with taking a hit on the black levels a little bit, but ultimately speaking, the black levels aren't bad. They're not like, terrible. They're not IPS or anything, and that's the thing. Like, and typically I don't like to recommend anything that's not a full array local dimming TV, but there really might be an argument for this TV, especially because it has the One Connect box, which means that you don't have to dive behind your TV when something's wall mounted, again, risking damaging the TV by collapsing to the floor or loosening the mount or a lot of the other stuff. But now the other thing is, I also hate wall mounting TVs. I refuse to review anything that exclusively requires me to wall mount a TV. And this TV is so very special because it basically allows you to choose. If you're like me and you don't want to wall mount the TV, but you still want the cool frame TV, Samsung gives you the feet, they give you the wall mount, and you decide for yourself. I respect that a lot more than people deciding, well, most people are just going to wall mount this, so I don't have to include this. You can pay $100 extra for the feet like LG does. I think this approach from Samsung is so really good, and I wish Samsung would go back to this level of thinking. Now, again, I love the way that the highlights are just popping off of as they walk through the city here, the little slums area in Final Fantasy VII. And I mean, really, guys, like, I'm in game mode right now. I never use game mode. I don't like game mode, but this looks really good. And I can say within a few minimal adjustments, this TV fell in line relatively easy. It is not a hard TV to calibrate or adjust. White balance is pretty good. And I have the reason of believing that this has everything to do with their intending on this being a gallery TV and you displaying art on it. But consequently, it means that now everything else is more accurate as a result. I really didn't have to do too much work at all, and that is really something that I can appreciate because it saves me time and it's mostly buttoned up out of the box. Yeah, colors are a little sour and a little desaturated out of the box, but it's not something that's unbearable, and I think that's an important thing to note about the Samsung Frame 2021 TV. Additionally, the one thing that I will say that is something that's really a downside so far that I've seen and all my testing that I've done so far is that like sound is like pretty trash because it's super thin. So you are going to need a sound system because even at 35, this thing doesn't even remotely kick even for trebles. So the sound is pretty bad. That's one of the downsides. But once you start ramping it up, it does its job enough. It's not like tinny and rattles and all that crap that you had with some of the older Samsungs in back in the old days. So it is something to think about. But I cannot stress to you the big win with this TV is going to be the clarity. So hopefully by putting all this out there and telling you about it, it gives you a little bit better of an idea of how this performs as a gaming TV, particularly with HDR, HGIG. I am using Game Motion Plus, so the soap opera settings are active on this TV. I don't like the way anything looks without soap opera effect at all. A lot of people will probably take protest to that. Not sorry, don't care. These are my preferences, so I'm just, reviewing the TV my way. That being said, though, if you have questions and you want to see something specific on this TV, let me know, and I'll do what I can to show you guys. I know so many people are trying to go at this TV as only being for the rich people or for like gallery users or commercial usage, but this is actually looking like a pretty decent residential offering. And I think decent is the word I'll use. It's not grand or anything, but it is a pretty damn good TV, and it's a lot better than what I've seen out of Samsung from their other TVs this year. And that's what I'll say there. But that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching the #1 brand in honesty, and until the next video, I'll see you guys later.